G'day! Welcome to Explore and Discover. If you've ever daydreamed about sipping champagne in a Parisian cafe, our journey into the heart of French luxury begins where else but in Paris. The moment you step onto its historic streets, the city envelops you. It's not just a place on a map, it's a feeling, an atmosphere thick with centuries of art, romance, and an undeniable sense of style. It's a city that doesn't just invite you to visit, it dares you to live differently, if only for a little while. There's an unspoken elegance here that's contagious. You find yourself instinctively reaching for that silk scarf, or those leather shoes you saved for a special occasion. Suddenly, every day feels like one. I chose to stay in Le Marais, a district that perfectly embodies this spirit. It's a labyrinth of medieval cobblestone lanes that unexpectedly open up to trendy art galleries, hidden courtyards, and the most exclusive designer boutiques. It's where historic aristocracy meets modern bohemia, and you can feel that creative energy with every step. And this is a city that practically begs you to treat yourself a little more. My sanctuary was a small, discreet boutique hotel, tucked away from the main thoroughfares. Waking up here was an event in itself. The morning ritual began not with an alarm, but with the arrival of a silver tray. On it, a pot of rich, dark coffee and croissants so impossibly flaky and buttery, they shatter at the slightest touch. Honestly, you'll be finding golden crumbs on your clothes for days, a delicious reminder of a perfect Parisian morning. Of course, you have to see the icons. The Eiffel Tower, in all its iron-laced glory, is a must. You can feel the energy of the world converging at its base. But my advice is to not let that be the only way you experience Paris's grandeur. The real soul of the city isn't found in the queue, but in the moments you create around these landmarks. Instead, book a sunset cruise along the Seine. As the sun dips low, it bathes the city in a warm, honeyed light that photographers call the golden hour. Here, it feels like a golden lifetime. With a glass of rich Bordeaux in hand, you drift past centuries of history. Notre Dame, the Louvre, the Musée d'Orsay. They all glide by like magnificent ghosts on the riverbank. The gentle lapping of the water against the boat. The distant city sounds muffled into a soft hum. That is where the real Parisian magic lives. It's not just a view, it's an immersion. Leaving the electric buzz of Paris behind, there's a certain magic to trading the chaos of an airport for the civilized glide of a high-speed train. Next stop, Lyon. For me, interrailing isn't just a budget-friendly way to see Europe. It's about reclaiming the journey itself. It's about watching the world unfold from your window, rather than just appearing beneath you from 30,000 feet. That's why I splurged on a first-class Eurail pass. It's one of those decisions you never regret. The world outside might be rushing by at 200 miles an hour, but inside, time slows down. We're talking plush seats you can actually sink into, and a serene quiet that feels like a library on wheels. The landscape shifts dramatically, from the dense urban tapestry of the capital to the rolling, sun-drenched hills of Burgundy. And yes, the coffee. Not just any coffee, but a proper, dark, aromatic espresso served in a real ceramic cup. Watching French vineyards and ancient farmhouses blur past as you stretch out your legs and sip on that. That's a vibe that no budget airline can ever replicate. Pulling into Lyon, you feel the city's energy immediately. It's different from Paris, less frantic, more self-assured. I dropped my bags and headed straight for Vieux-Lyon, the old town. It's a UNESCO World Heritage Site, a labyrinth of Renaissance architecture painted in warm ochres and rose pinks. I spent the afternoon getting lost in the famous traboules, secret covered passageways used by silk merchants in the 15th century. Ducking into a dark archway from a bustling street and emerging into a silent, hidden courtyard feels like you've discovered a secret the city has kept just for you. But let's be honest, I came to Lyon for one primary reason: the food. This city is the undisputed gastronomic capital of France, and I was ready to worship at its altar. I'd booked a table at a Michelin-starred bistro and treated myself to an insane tasting menu. It was a performance, beginning with delicate flavours and escalating from there. Truffle wasn't just an ingredient, it was a theme. The wine pairings made me question reality. A crisp Sancerre that cut through the richness of a foie gras course. A deep velvety Rhone red that felt like it was grown specifically for the braised beef cheek it accompanied. The sommelier didn't just pour, he told the story of each bottle, each vineyard, and the service. My waiter was a master of his craft, anticipating every need with a discreet smile, making me feel less like a customer and more like an honored guest. If you're ever on the fence about spending a bit more on a meal like this, just do it. It's an investment in a memory you'll savor long after the bill is paid. After the electric energy of Paris, the journey south felt like a deep, calming exhale. The train sliced through the French countryside, the landscape slowly transforming. The grey slate roofs gave way to terracotta tiles. The fields of green morphed into groves of silver-leafed olive trees. Then the first glimpse of it, a flash of impossible blue. The Mediterranean. Our final destination, the legendary Côte d'Azur. Then it was off to the Riviera. My first stop was Nice, a city that perfectly balances urban buzz with seaside bliss. I spent a day wandering the Promenade des Anglais before getting lost in the labyrinthine streets of the Old Town. From there, the plan was to hopscotch along the coast. Cannes, with its air of cinematic glamour, and the impossibly chic Saint-Tropez, each more gorgeous than the last. But the real magic wasn't just the destinations, it was the journey between them. Picture this, winding along the coast in a glass-domed train carriage, the Mediterranean glinting in the sun. This isn't just any train, it's a rolling observatory. The panoramic windows curve overhead, making you feel completely immersed in the landscape. As we hugged the coastline, the dramatic red rocks of the Estoril Massif rose up on one side, a stark, beautiful contrast to the endless turquoise on the other. You see these hidden coves and secluded beaches you could never access by car, tiny pockets of paradise reserved for sailors, and now for us on the train. It's a perspective that makes you feel less like a tourist and more like a privileged observer. The beauty of travelling with a rail pass is the freedom to be spontaneous. On the way to Cannes, I saw a picture-perfect bay from the window and decided, on a whim, to hop off at the next station. It led me to Villefranche-sur-Mer, a classic fishing village. I found a small restaurant right on the waterfront, the kind of place with a menu dictated by the morning's catch. I ordered the grand platter, a mountain of glistening oysters, sweet langoustines, and briny sea urchins, paired with a crisp local rose. After lunch, there was only one thing to do. I found a small, pebbled beach and dove into the bluest, most refreshing water you've ever seen. The afternoon sun on my skin, the taste of salt on my lips. That was a moment of pure, simple luxury. For my final night on the Riviera, I decided to splurge. I'd heard whispers of the perched villages clinging to the cliffs between Nice and Monaco, and I found a place that seemed torn from a dream. I even managed a night at a cliffside villa near the medieval village of Aise. Getting there was an adventure in itself, a steep climb that revealed more of the coastline with every turn. The villa was a masterpiece of modern design, all clean lines and glass walls, designed to do one thing: showcase the view. I spent the evening on the terrace, watching the sky bleed from gold to pink to deep indigo. It was worth every single euro for the sunrise views alone. Waking up before dawn, wrapped in a blanket, and watching the sun climb out of the sea, painting the water in strokes of orange and gold. It was a profound, almost spiritual experience. And that's when it really clicked for me. Here's the thing. Luxury travel isn't just about 5-star hotels or designer bags. That's a shallow version of it. True luxury is a feeling. It's about creating moments that feel rare, memorable, and a little bit unreal. It's the richness of an experience, not the price tag. It's the freedom to change your plans on a whim. It's the taste of that fresh seafood, the feeling of that cool water, the silence of that sunrise. The right train, the right meal, the right sunset. Suddenly you're living the dream you've always talked about. It's about collecting stories, not things. So if you're thinking about an interrail adventure through France, my advice is this: lean into the luxury. And I mean your version of luxury. Maybe it's upgrading to a first-class carriage for that one scenic leg of the journey. Maybe it's booking a cooking class in a small village, or splurging on that one incredible meal you'll remember forever. Treat yourself. Don't just rush from one landmark to the next. Take the scenic route. Chase the memories you'll brag about for years. Build an itinerary, but leave space for magic. Let the journey guide you. Because those unexpected detours often lead to the most cherished destinations. Thanks for joining me on Explore and Discover. This trip through France has been unforgettable, but the world is wide and full of adventures waiting to happen. Hit subscribe if you want more epic journeys, because this is just the beginning.